Now we come to a very important Reynolds transport theorem. In the whole of discussion of kinematics of fluid flow, we talked about that there are two methodologies that are used to describe fluid flow. One is Lagrangian, in which we have to follow each and every particle that is moving in a fluid motion. And in the Eulerian method, the second method, we don't follow the each particle. We only take a certain mass, a representative mass that is flowing, and that is arbitrary, that is flowing in the whole flowing field, only considered its motion, and that is supposed to represent properly the whatever is happening in the fluid motion, and it represents the fluid field. The Reynolds transport theorem actually provides us a link between moving from the Lagrangian method to Eulerian method. So it provides us a link between the two systems and the two methodologies that are used in the fluid flow or the motion of the fluid. So while in Lagrangian fluid we consider material derivatives, in the other one, in the Eulerian motion, we consider the motion of the control volume, what we represent as CV, and only consider its motion and C. So here there is a simple example given here, both the methods, and then basically this emphasizes the difference between the Lagrangian method and between the Eulerian method of representing fluid motion. So in the first picture, we try to spray some deodorant, and then we see that how does it deform. And if we try to follow each of its particle, you can see it's not going to be an easy way. But if we consider a fixed interior volume and just see how does that move, it becomes much easier to compute and calculate its motion. The Reynolds transport theorem actually provides the link, as I said. So there is the system approach which relates to a Lagrangian method. RTT is a link between the two, and then there is, we consider in the Eulerian method only the control volume, and that provides us how to calculate it. There are now two ways. This theorem is reflected in two ways. One is through differential calculus, differentiating infinitesimal small particles and trying to calculate the same result. And the other method, which looks very easy and which one feels is very easy, is the integral approach. So we shall be discussing under this how this linkage and the calculation by giving one or two examples. For this, we use Leibniz theorem, and Leibniz theorem for one-dimensional case is given in calculus, as it is well known, that if there is a function of, let's say, g, and since it is only in one dimension, let's say it is in x direction, and then it's time dependent as well. So the flow is general form considered to be an unsteady motion. And of course, we can always reduce it to steady form by taking the time derivatives and the variation with time to be zero. So this is a famous theorem studied in our calculus, in our integral calculus, that if we have to integrate a function from between two limits, x equal to at to x equal to bt, observe that both these limits depend on the variable time. Then the Leibniz theorem essentially provides us a way to calculate it very simply in a very simple method, and then the partial derivative. Otherwise, if we try to integrate it with respect to x, in many cases, in fact in most cases, it's not easy. In some cases it may be, but in most cases it is not. And then differentiate that with respect to time, because you can see the limits are dependent on time. Therefore, so this answer, this integral will give us a result which will involve the variable t. We differentiate it with respect to t, and the answer will be only in terms of then the time. And how it is simplified, how the calculation is made very simple is that we substitute the values of g, and in the first case we differentiate with respect to t, only t, and then integrate it with respect to x between the limits a to b, and note that now they have been just represented as a and b, and we have not shown it to be dependent on time. Then plus we simply substitute in the function the upper limit, and we leave the time as it is, and here the lower limit, as if we are integrating a definite integral, and then after the integration we substitute the limits. So it has been made very simple in the same way, only we differentiate with respect to the limits also, which are given to be time dependent. And by calculating this, a very complex linkage has been made very simple. The calculation becomes very simple, and therefore the linkage between Lagrangian and Eulerian format becomes easy. The same thing can be seen here in this picture, that if we take a certain area that is in the x direction that exists between a to b, and we have to calculate the integral, as we know, is area under the curve, and the curve is obviously between the limits that are given to us in a specific situation, and therefore all this will be calculated. This curve is drawn with respect to the function g, capital G, and this integral will be calculated, and the implication is made so simple by use of this theorem.